Greetings, fellow cosmic voyagers. I'm Anik Islam and welcome. Have you ever paused, perhaps while scheduling a meeting or planning your weekend, and wondered why our weekdays are named the way they are? It's a question that might seem mundane at first glance, but like so many aspects of our universe, the ordinary often conceals the extraordinary. The names we casually use for each day of the week are not arbitrary labels. They are echoes of ancient civilizations, celestial observations, and mythological narratives, a tapestry woven through millennia. Let's dive into the fascinating history behind the names of the 7 days of the week. This journey will take us back to the Babylonians, who revered the number 7, associating it with the 7 classical celestial bodies they could observe: the Sun, the Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. These weren't just distant lights in the sky, they were powerful entities, gods and goddesses whose movements were thought to influence human destiny. This ancient system of planetary hours and divine associations laid the groundwork for how we, even today, mark the passage of our lives, one day at a time. So, prepare to look at your calendar with fresh eyes. We're about to embark on an exploration that connects the dots between ancient astronomy, Roman gods, Norse mythology, and the very structure of our modern week. It's a story of how the cosmos, in a very real sense, is embedded in our daily language and our perception of time. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be an enlightening ride through the annals of time itself, revealing the cosmic heritage hidden in plain sight. We begin our journey with Sunday, a day that for many marks either the beginning or the end of the weekly cycle. Its name, in English, offers a rather direct clue to its ancient dedication, the sun. This isn't a coincidence, it's a direct linguistic inheritance. The Romans called it dies solis, which translates quite literally to day of the sun. Our own star, the Sol, the giver of light and life to our planet, was naturally held in extremely high reverence by ancient cultures across the globe, and the Romans were no exception to this solar veneration. The sun, that magnificent fusion reactor in the sky, dictates our seasons, our climate, and the very rhythm of life on Earth. It's no wonder that ancient peoples, with their keen observational skills, placed it at the pinnacle of their celestial pantheon. For the Romans, the cult of Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun, gained prominence, especially in the later empire, often syncretized with other solar deities. This imperial endorsement further solidified the sun's association with the first or most prominent day of the week, a day to honor its power and life-sustaining energy. Think about it, the sun is the most obvious and dominant object in our sky. Its daily rising and setting is the most fundamental marker of time we experience. Before intricate clocks and digital calendars, the sun was the ultimate timekeeper. Its journey across the celestial sphere, its apparent path known as the ecliptic, was meticulously charted. Ancient astronomers, the proto-scientists of their day, understood its critical role, and dedicating a day to it was a logical, almost inevitable step in structuring the week. This dedication wasn't unique to the Romans, though their system heavily influenced the West. Many cultures independently venerated solar deities and recognized the sun's paramount importance. The concept of a sun's day resonated across different linguistic and cultural landscapes. As the Roman Empire expanded, and later as its cultural legacy permeated through Europe, the dies solis concept traveled with it, influencing the Germanic languages from which English eventually evolved. Old English sunandeg is a clear linguistic ancestor, the influence of dies. Solis can be seen in other Germanic languages too. For example, in German, Sunday is Sonntag, and in Dutch, it's Zondag. These names are direct translations or adaptations, carrying the solar dedication through centuries of linguistic evolution. It's a testament to the enduring power of that initial association, a link forged between our nearest star and our measurement of time, a connection that persists every time we utter the word Sunday. Consider the symbolism, a day dedicated to the source of all light and warmth. It often carries connotations of brightness, clarity, and a fresh start. While modern life has layered on many other meanings, from religious observance to a day of rest or recreation, the foundational astronomical connection remains embedded in its very name. The Romans weren't just naming a day, they were acknowledging a fundamental cosmic force that governs our existence. So, as you experience your next Sunday, perhaps enjoying a bit of sunshine, remember that you are partaking in a tradition that stretches back thousands of years. You are acknowledging, perhaps unknowingly, the profound impact of that giant fiery star 93 million miles away, whose gravitational pull holds our solar system together and whose light and energy make life on Earth possible. Sunday is more than just a day, it's a weekly nod to our star. Following the day of the sun, we naturally arrive at the day of the moon, Monday. Just as Sunday's name transparently points to the sun, Monday's etymology clearly indicates its lunar association. In Latin, this day was known as Des Lunae, meaning day of the moon. The moon, our planet's constant celestial companion, has captivated human imagination for millennia with its phases, its gravitational influence on tides, and its luminous presence in the night sky. It was only fitting that it too would be honored with its own day. The moon, unlike the distant stars, presents a dynamic and ever-changing face. Its cyclical journey from new moon to full moon and back again provided early cultures with another reliable method for tracking time, particularly for longer periods than a single day. This lunar cycle, approximately 29.5 days, formed the basis of many early calendars and continues to influence religious and cultural observances around the world. The Romans, astute observers of the heavens, recognized the moon's significance, dedicating the second day of their week to Luna, their goddess of the moon. The transition from Latin dies lunae to the English Monday is a fascinating example of linguistic evolution through Germanic influence. The Old English Monandaeg directly translates to Moon's Day. This pattern is mirrored in other Germanic languages, Montag in German, Mandag in Dutch. The reverence for the moon, or its personified deity, was widespread. And as the Roman system of naming weekdays spread, it was often adapted to fit existing cultural and linguistic frameworks, with local lunar deities sometimes being mapped onto the Roman lunar. Think of the moon's pervasive influence. It governs the ebb and flow of ocean tides, a powerful demonstration of its gravitational dance with Earth. For agricultural societies, the lunar cycle was often a guide for planting and harvesting. For seafarers, it was a beacon in the night, a celestial navigator. Its ethereal glow has inspired poets, artists, and lovers throughout history, weaving itself into the fabric of human culture and mythology. Assigning a day to the moon was an acknowledgement of its profound and multifaceted role in the terrestrial and celestial spheres. The character of Monday in modern perception often carries a different weight, perhaps the return to work or school after a weekend respite. Yet beneath these contemporary associations lies that ancient connection to the moon. The symbolism of the moon often includes themes of reflection, intuition, cycles, and emotions. While we might not consciously associate our Mondays with these lunar qualities, the name itself is a silent reminder of a time when humanity lived in closer harmony with the rhythms of the cosmos. Consider the contrast. Sunday, the day of the brilliant life-giving sun, followed by Monday, the day of the reflective cyclical moon. This pairing makes a certain cosmic sense, representing two of the most dominant and observable celestial bodies from our earthly perspective. Their influence on early timekeeping and mythology was so profound that their positions at the head of the week seem almost preordained, a celestial 1-2 punch to kickstart our 7-day cycle. So, the next time you greet a Monday, perhaps with a sigh or a surge of motivation, take a moment to look up at the sky, day or night. Remember that this day carries the legacy of Dies Lunae, a testament to humanity's enduring fascination with our closest celestial neighbor. The moon, in its quiet majesty, continues to watch over us, its ancient namesake, day, a constant in our weekly lives, a subtle thread connecting us to the cosmic ballet. As we venture further into the week, we arrive at Tuesday, and here the etymological waters become a bit more martial. The straightforward celestial naming convention we saw with Sunday and Monday takes a fascinating turn. In the Roman system, this day was Dies Martis, the day of Mars. Mars, of course, was the Roman god of war, a powerful and often fearsome deity second only to Jupiter in the Roman pantheon. His red-hued planetary namesake, visible in the night sky, likely reinforced this association with blood and battle. The Romans held Mars in high esteem, not just as a god of conflict, but also as a guardian of agriculture in earlier traditions, though his warrior aspect became dominant. Military campaigns were often initiated under his auspices, and he was seen as a protector of Rome itself. Dedicating a day to Mars was a way to honor his power, to perhaps appease his warlike nature, and to acknowledge the reality of conflict and defense in the ancient world. The energy of Mars was one of action, assertion, and sometimes aggression. Now here's where it gets particularly interesting for English speakers. While the Romance languages like French, Mardi, Spanish, Martis, and Italian, Martedi, directly retain the Latin root of Mars, English and other Germanic languages took a different path. When the Germanic peoples adopted the Roman 7-day week, they performed a kind of mythological translation, substituting their own deities for the Roman ones who shared similar characteristics. For Dies Martis, they looked to their own god of war. Enter Tyr, or Tiu in Old English. Tyr was a significant god in the Norse and Germanic pantheons, associated with law, justice, and heroic glory in battle. He was known for his bravery, famously sacrificing his hand to bind the monstrous wolf Fenrir. This act of courage and sacrifice made him a fitting counterpart to the Roman Mars. Thus Dies Martis became Tuesday, which over centuries of linguistic evolution smoothed into our modern Tuesday. This process, known as Interpretatio Germanica, is a fantastic window into cultural exchange and adaptation. The Germanic tribes didn't just passively accept Roman culture, they assimilated it, reinterpreting it through the lens of their own beliefs and traditions. The structure of the 7-day week was adopted, but the divine patrons were, in many cases, localized. This speaks volumes about the resilience and distinctiveness of Germanic mythology, even as Roman influence spread. So, Tuesday carries this fascinating dual heritage. Its ultimate Roman root points to Mars, the fiery planet and the god of war, a symbol of assertive energy. But its immediate Germanic ancestor honors Tyr, the brave, self-sacrificing god of justice and battle. It's a day imbued with ancient warrior spirit, a linguistic artifact of a time when gods of battle held sway over human affairs and the naming of days. Think about the subtle undercurrent this brings to the 3rd day of our week. While we may not consciously invoke Mars or Tyr as we go about our Tuesdays, the name itself is a whisper from a more tumultuous, mythologically rich past. It's a reminder that our language is a living museum, preserving echoes of beliefs and deities that once shaped the worldviews of entire civilizations, a testament to the enduring human fascination with courage, conflict, and the forces that drive action. We now find ourselves at the midpoint of the week, Wednesday. This day, like Tuesday, reveals a fascinating interplay between Roman and Germanic mythological traditions. In Latin, it was Dies Mercurii, the day of Mercury. Mercury was the Roman god of commerce, travel, eloquence, communication, and also a guide to the underworld. A multifaceted deity associated with swiftness and messages, often depicted with winged sandals and a winged cap carrying the caduceus. Mercury, the counterpart to the Greek Hermes, was a crucial figure in the Roman pantheon. He facilitated trade, protected travelers, and was the messenger of the gods. His domain covered the hustle and bustle of daily life, the flow of information, and the journeys that connected disparate parts of the empire. The planet Mercury, the fastest moving planet in our solar system, visible to the naked eye, naturally lent itself to being named after this swift messenger god. Dedicating a day to him acknowledged the importance of these dynamic aspects of Roman society. When the Germanic peoples encountered Dies Mercurii, they again sought an equivalent deity within their own pantheon. They found a compelling match in Woden, or Odin as he is more commonly known from Norse mythology. Odin was the chief god in the Norse pantheon, a complex and often enigmatic figure associated with wisdom, poetry, magic, war, death, and prophecy. He was a relentless seeker of knowledge, famously sacrificing an eye for a drink from Mimir's well of wisdom. The connection between Mercury and Odin might not seem immediately obvious, but there are key parallels. Both were associated with wisdom and eloquence. Both were travelers and guides, Mercury guiding souls to the underworld, Odin often wandering the earth in disguise, gathering knowledge. Odin with his ravens, Hugin, thought, and Munin, memory, acting as his messengers, also had a strong connection to communication and information, much like Mercury. Thus, Dies Mercurii was reinterpreted as Woden's Day. This transformation from Woden's Day, Old English Wodsdag, to our modern Wednesday is a clear linguistic lineage. The Woden part is still quite recognizable if you listen closely. Romance languages, conversely, stuck with Mercury, Mercredi in French, Miércoles in Spanish, Mercoledi in Italian. This divergence beautifully illustrates how different cultural filters process the same Roman template, creating distinct yet related outcomes in their vocabularies. Wednesday, therefore, stands at the week's peak, imbued with the characteristics of these two powerful deities. From Mercury, it inherits a sense of communication, commerce, and perhaps a touch of trickster energy. From Odin, it gains an aura of wisdom, esoteric knowledge, and the pursuit of deeper understanding. It's a day that, etymologically speaking, encourages both quick thinking and profound reflection, a blend of the practical and the mystical. So, as we navigate the hump day of the week, it's intriguing to consider this rich mythological heritage. Wednesday isn't just the day that bisects our working week, it's a linguistic monument to gods who personified the vital human activities of communication, trade, travel, and the unceasing quest for knowledge. It's a subtle reminder embedded in our daily language of the deep connections our ancestors forged between the heavens, their gods, and the rhythm of their lives. Moving past the week's midpoint, we arrive at Thursday, a day that resonates with power and authority thanks to its divine namesakes. In the Roman calendar, this was Dies Iovis, the day of Jove, more commonly known as Jupiter. Jupiter was the king of the Roman gods, the supreme deity ruling over the sky, thunder and lightning. He was the Roman equivalent of the Greek Zeus, a figure of immense power, justice and sovereignty. Jupiter, holding his thunderbolt, was the ultimate symbol of divine authority and order in the Roman world. Temples were dedicated to him, and he was invoked in matters of state and law. His associated planet, Jupiter, the largest in our solar system, further underscored his majestic and dominant nature. To dedicate a day to Jupiter was to pay homage to the highest power in their pantheon, acknowledging the forces that governed not just the heavens, but also human affairs and the state itself. Once again, when the Germanic peoples adopted this Roman weekly structure, they sought a parallel for Jupiter within their own mythological framework. The choice was quite natural: Thor. Thor, in Norse mythology, was the god of thunder, lightning, storms, strength, and the protection of mankind. Armed with his mighty hammer, Mjolnir, he was a formidable warrior, a defender of Asgard and Midgard, Earth, against giants and other malevolent forces. His booming presence and association with thunder made him an ideal counterpart to Jupiter. Thus, Dies Iovis became Thor's day in the Germanic languages. In Old Norse it was Thorsdaga, and in Old English Thunresdag, Thunor being the Anglo-Saxon equivalent of Thor and Thunor meaning thunder. Over time, Thor's Day evolved into our modern Thursday. The connection is still remarkably evident, especially if you imagine the rumble of thunder when you say the name. This naming convention highlights the shared Indo-European roots where a powerful sky thunder god often held a preeminent position. Romance languages, as expected, maintained their allegiance to the Roman deity. Jeudi in French, Jueves in Spanish, Giovedi in Italian, all clearly derived from Jove Jupiter. The English Thursday, however, proudly proclaims its Norse heritage, a weekly linguistic echo of Viking sagas and the thunderous might of Thor. It's a fascinating divergence, showcasing how deeply ingrained these mythological figures were in the respective cultures. Consider the character of Thursday, often seen as the day leading towards the end of the work week, a day where tasks might culminate or major efforts are pushed through. There's a certain robustness to it, perhaps an unconscious reflection of the powerful deities it's named after. It's a day that, etymologically, carries the weight of kingship and the raw power of the storm, a blend of sovereign order and untamed natural force. So, the next time a thunderstorm rolls in, or when you're simply marking Thursday on your calendar, remember the thunder god Thor and the king of gods Jupiter. Their legacy is not just confined to ancient myths or comic books, it's embedded in the very name of the day itself. Thursday stands as a testament to humanity's awe of celestial power and the enduring figures who personified it, a mighty roar from the past that still echoes in our weekly rhythm. As the week draws to a close, anticipation often builds for the weekend, and Friday arrives, a day whose name is steeped in notions of love, beauty and fertility. In the Roman system, this was Dies Veneris, the day of Venus. Venus was the Roman goddess of love, beauty, desire, sex, fertility, prosperity, and victory. Her influence permeated Roman culture, art, and poetry, and she was considered an ancestor of the Roman people through her son Aeneas. Venus, often equated with the Greek Aphrodite, represented powerful, often irresistible forces. The planet Venus, the brightest object in our sky after the sun and moon, known as both the morning star and the evening star, was a fitting celestial body to bear her name. Its radiant beauty in the twilight hours seemed to perfectly capture the goddess's allure. Dedicating a day to Venus was an acknowledgement of the profound human experiences of love, attraction, and the continuation of life. When it came to Germanic adaptation, the equivalent for Venus was found in a prominent goddess from their own pantheon. This is where things get a little intertwined, as Norse mythology features both Frigg and Freya, goddesses who share several overlapping domains, including love, beauty, and fertility. Frigg was Odin's wife, a goddess of wisdom, foresight, and motherhood. Freya was a goddess of love, beauty, fertility, gold, cider, magic, war, and death. It is generally believed that the English Friday comes from Old English Friggadeig, meaning Frigg's Day. Frigg, as the chief goddess and wife of Woden Odin, whose day is Wednesday, was a figure of considerable status and was associated with love and domesticity, making her a plausible counterpart to Venus, especially in her aspect as a goddess of marriage and childbirth. Other Germanic languages show similar derivations, such as the German Freitag, which could point to either Frigg or Freya, as their names and attributes were closely related and sometimes conflated. The Romance languages, true to form, preserve the direct link to Venus Vendredi in French, Viand in Spanish, Venerdi in Italian. The English Friday, however, carries the distinct imprint of Norse or Germanic goddess worship. It's a beautiful example of how ancient beliefs about divine feminine power, love, and beauty were woven into the very fabric of the week across different cultures. Think about the cultural feeling of Friday. It's often associated with the end of the work or school week, a time for socializing, romance, relaxation, and enjoyment. Activities that resonate with the domains of Venus and Frigg Freya. The name itself seems to usher in a lighter, more pleasurable phase of the weekly cycle, a linguistic nod to goddesses who presided over the joys and connections of human life. So, as you look forward to your next Friday, or reflect on one just past, consider the ancient goddesses of love and beauty whose names are immortalized in this day. Whether you feel the pull of Roman Venus or the embrace of Norse Frigg, Friday serves as a weekly reminder of the enduring human values of love, connection, and the pursuit of beauty in our lives. It's a day that etymologically whispers of ancient goddesses and the timeless allure they represent. We have arrived at the final day in our exploration of the week, Saturday, a day that, for many, signals rest, leisure, and the culmination of the weekly cycle. Interestingly, for English speakers, Saturday stands apart from most of the other Germanic-influenced weekday names. Its name doesn't come from a Norse god substituted for a Roman one. Instead, it directly retains its Roman divine association, Dies Saturni, the day of Saturn. Saturn was a significant and ancient Roman god associated with agriculture, wealth, generation, dissolution, renewal, and, crucially, time. He was often depicted as an older figure, sometimes carrying a scythe symbolizing the harvest, but also the passage of time and eventual mortality. His reign was mythologized as a golden age of peace and abundance. The famous Roman festival of Saturnalia, held in December, was a period of feasting, gift-giving, and role reversal, one of the most popular celebrations of the year. The planet Saturn, the most distant of the 5 planets known to the ancient Romans that were visible to the naked eye, excluding Uranus and Neptune, which require telescopes, was named in his honor. Its slower, more distant orbit perhaps contributed to its association with the elder god and the concept of long stretches of time. Dedicating the last day of the week, or the day before the sun's day, depending on how you count, to Saturn provided a sense of closure and connection to cycles of work, harvest, and rest. Unlike Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, where Germanic peoples substituted their own deities, The English name Saturday remained remarkably close to the Latin Saturni dies. While some other Germanic languages do have different names, like Lørdag in Danish, Norwegian, or Lørdag in Swedish, meaning washing day, or Samstag in parts of Germany derived from Sabbath, English held on to Saturn. This might be because there wasn't a readily apparent or dominant Germanic deity who perfectly mirrored all of Saturn's complex attributes. Or perhaps the influence of Roman culture was particularly strong in this instance for the Anglo-Saxons. The persistence of Saturn's name in English for this day is quite unique within the Germanic language family's weekday nomenclature. It makes Saturday a direct linguistic link back to the heart of Roman mythology, without the Norse filter we've seen on other days. It's a testament to the profound and lasting impact of Saturn, a god who represented not just agricultural bounty, but also the inexorable march of time itself. Consider the feel of Saturday. It often represents a pause, a time for reflection on the week past or preparation for the week ahead, much like the end of a harvest cycle. It can be a day of abundance, leisure time, social gatherings, but also one that marks the steady progression of our lives. The themes of Saturn cycles, endings leading to new beginnings, the fruits of labor, all subtly resonate with how many experience this day. So, as your week culminates in Saturday, take a moment to appreciate this direct connection to the Roman god Saturn. This day, named for the deity of time, harvest and renewal, serves as a fitting bookend to our exploration of the week's origins. It reminds us that even in our modern, fast-paced world, we are still living by a rhythm set millennia ago, a rhythm deeply intertwined with the cosmos and the stories our ancestors told about the great forces that shaped their lives and, by extension, ours. And there you have it. From the sun's fiery heart to Saturn's distant rings, through pantheons of Roman and Norse gods, we've journeyed through the etymological roots of our 7-day week. It's quite something to realize that every time we glance at a calendar or mention a day, we're unknowingly invoking ancient deities, celestial bodies, and the rich mythological tapestry woven by civilizations long past. These names are not just arbitrary labels. They are linguistic fossils carrying stories of how our ancestors perceived the cosmos and their place within it. The next time you look at your calendar, you'll know the rich history behind each day's name. Monday isn't just Monday, it's the moon's day. Thursday isn't just Thursday, it's Thor's day. This understanding doesn't change the day itself, but it can enrich our appreciation for the deep historical and cultural currents that flow beneath the surface of our everyday lives. It connects us to a lineage of human thought and observation stretching back thousands of years, a testament to our enduring quest to make sense of time and the universe. I'm Anik Islam, and it's been a privilege to share this cosmic and historical journey with you. The universe is full of such wonders, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. Keep looking up, keep questioning, and keep exploring the magnificent complexities of our world. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating insights into the universe and our place within it. Until next time, stay curious.